Hey, what's going on, podcasters? Let's acknowledge the good friends of the Loft Party Podcast. The Majestic Restaurant and Pendergast Club, carrying on Kansas City's tradition of great food and great jazz, 931 Broadway in Kansas City, Missouri. The J. Rieger Kansas City Distillery, whiskey, gin, vodka. That is, oh so good. And friend of the podcast and panelist, Lane Boland, managing to keep the podcast going. Apparently wealthy or not. Now onto our regularly scheduled program.
It's not getting in.
All right, everybody out there in podcast land, I want to welcome you to the Loft Party Podcast, where it is always about good times, good people, and good talk. I'm your host, Rio, and let me introduce you to the panel. We've got our returning champion, Chris O'Connor.
Yeah.
He is the co-owner of Liquid 9 Broadcast Media Production. Lane Boland, who, if you were listening to the top of the show, is also one of the podcast sponsors. He is a wealth manager. And the anonymous female. Say hello, anonymous female.
Hello.
As she is trying to swallow some food as we were trying to...
I was going to say, please qualify that.
as we were trying to eat.
Speaking of the worst job I ever had.
Lane. So, as you can tell out there in podcast land, we have a small panel, but we are still quite lively. So let's get to our first question of the day, which of course is, what are we drinking? And I will start with Lane.
I'd say about a half a pint of Rieger whiskey in a tall glass with ice.
It's not really a half a pint, but that is
look,
an awful tall glass.
Since Friday, the market's been down about 6 points. I need this.
Yeah, damn Brexit.
It's actually a blessing in disguise, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. Chris, what are we drinking?
Always a Pendergast.
But you know what? We always just say a Pendergast, but for those out there in podcast land who may not be cocktail savvy, what's in a Pendergast?
It's essentially a Manhattan, which is bitters and sweet vermouth, and then I use Rieger whiskey in there every time, and then they put in some Benedictine into it.
Okay.
So it sweetens it up a little bit. That's why it's different than just a regular Manhattan.
And they are quite tasty, actually. I've had a couple with you before.
They go down a little too smooth sometimes.
I can attest to that.
Anonymous female, what are we drinking today?
I have water today.
H2O.
Oh, no.
But that is not out of the normal scope or realm for the anonymous female. She does not always have cocktails with the rest of us.
Somebody has to be responsible.
Somebody. Yeah, and I of course am having a barrel aged Manhattan. If you were just paying attention to Chris, you kind of have an idea of what a Manhattan is. The difference is here at the Majestic Restaurant, they actually have an aging barrel, and so they'll put all of the ingredients in the barrel and age it for several months, and then they will extract it and bottle it and bring it up to the bars, which gives it another level of complexity and just deliciousness. And that's why I like them.
Which whiskey do they use?
You know what? I'm not 100% sure. I know they were using, I think, like Old Overhold or something like that.
Yeah.
But they may be switching to like a Rieger or something like that.
Oh, I was saying probably like a Knob Creek or something along those lines. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And of course, our second question: what are we smoking? Like,
As much as I love cigars, I got to be true to the fight. And today's blend is Crown Achievement by KC's Badass Cigar or Outlaw Cigar Company, whatever they're called.
all right.
It's kind of a punch you in the face blend that It is by no means smooth, but it pairs very well with the silkiness of Rigger whiskey.
With that half pint of Rio whiskey. All right. What about you, Craig?
I'm always the Oliva Series G when possible. I love it. Very smooth.
Last week, Big Dave had a party for his company's been around for 50 years. And the
Is that
anonymous
the gold anniversary, diamond?
Yeah, I guess it's gold anniversary.
Yeah. That's a huge achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
70% of companies started
I think
are
he.
bankrupt by their 5th year of business.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's run the business now for 10 years.
Yeah.
But so they had a nice reception, in honor of 50 years in business, and myself, the anonymous female, and actually we saw Chris there. We all wound up going, and excuse me, Big Dave was passing out cigars, so I am smoking our father's La Antigüedad. Yes, my father's La Antigüedad, which I have had before. It's actually quite a smooth, medium-bodied cigar. Rather enjoy it, and I'm going to enjoy it today.
It was a really nice party, and he did a great job with it. And, congratulations to Dave on all the success with it. It was really cool. Nice event.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't wind up smoking it that day was if it wasn't, it felt like it was 100.
It was still 100
it
when they
was
were out
100.
there.
It was
Yeah.
super hot. So I was like, now I
Yeah,
gotta
it
stand
was-
out here for an hour.
They stood out there just long enough to take pictures, and we were all burning up.
God bless America.
Yeah, buddy. So today's topic is the best and worst job I ever had. And what did it teach me? So I've got a feeling, and at home, I never actually go in any particular order once I get to the topic to ask questions. I try to gauge where I'm feeling the vibe that somebody's ready to start talking. Because I'm sure people out there go, you must have a particular order. I do an order for what are we drinking, what are we smoking, but not for the topics, because some people aren't ready to talk yet, or they're still gathering their thoughts. But I do think I'm feeling the vibe that Chris has something to say about his worst job.